So the first thing we're going to make is probably the peg. It doesn't really have to be this way, but we're going to start with the peg, all right? So well, what do I do? What do I do? How do I start making the peg? I'm currently in assembly mode. Think about that for a moment. I'll come over here. I'll open this up. I'll open this up. Here's all my planes. Here's my part body. On either 3D shape or part body. If you go to peg, this won't work. Double click on one of these. Double click on 3D shape. And now I'm over in part design mode. Okay. So I'm going to pick this plane right here, the XY plane. You see that one right there like that, okay? If I say I pick a plane, I'll try to remember to, if it's critical, if it matters, I'll try to call it out over here in the specification tree, because if you rotated your part around, it would be different, right? In this case, it doesn't matter. So I hit the XY plane and I'll go into Sketcher and we'll make a circle. Right here, and the circle is going to be constrained to 40 millimeters. Okay, find my zoom level there. Exit out, and then we'll pad this up, 50 millimeters. All right, now I need to put the little peg on the top of this. So I'm going to pick this top face here, the one away from the plane system. Doesn't really matter, but that's the one I'm picking. I'll go into Sketcher. And if you hear me clicking, I'm clicking away just to solidify the sketch axis system right here. And lately I haven't been worried about flip-flopping this around. I'll do maybe a dedicated video focusing on what I'm doing all the time with this. I know we talked about it in part design briefly here and there, but I think maybe it warrants a very focused video. So I'm going to grab another circle and I'm going to stick this to the center, right? Make sure you get the circle dot. Bring this out here. I'm going to dimension this one. I think I missed it. So if you miss it, click away, click again. There you go. And we'll make this 14. Exit out. We're going to pad this up 20. Okay. And then let's give it a color. So go over to the part body usually. Go to graphics and yellow. Okay, there's our peg. Now we need to go make our other part. So in order to do that, I don't have to go up and then down. I can open this up here and I can find part body and double click on it. So keep this in mind as you're making things where you're at, all right? Because if I start making something in space right now, it's going to be in the peg part. So I'll double click on this part body and then the highlight everything kind of changes over, okay? So just like the last exercise, I need to now make the ring, but I want to make sure that the plane I'm choosing to build it on is not one of these. Now, you can always test this, and I think it's probably always going to be okay if you just come over here and you just get a hold of that plane. It's going to pick this one right here. The point being, be careful. Make absolute certain, sure that you know what object you're using to build this on. So I have this plane. I have that XY plane. I will go into Sketcher here, and I'm going to go make my part. Now, this is the beginning of a thing I'm going to mention. I can see the other part there, and this has to do with, well, it's there because it's there, but this concept I want to talk about has to do with this designing in context. Because it's there, if I needed to make a circle roundaboutly about the same size as that, I could bring it out here and I could go, yeah, that probably looks good. This type of thing is good when you're trying to create a part that doesn't exist already and you're just inventing, okay? If you already know what the part is, you're doing everything to measurements. You also don't make it right, to that edge and click it to it or constrain it to it, because that again is a link. That's a link between this part and the other part, so you don't want to do that. You don't want to make a projection of that because that's a link between this part and the other part, okay? So just know, though, that this concept of designing in context, here's what I would really do. I'd go, yeah, that probably looks good. It's probably about that big. Then I'd dimension it. And my dimension here is 39.425. Oh, I probably made it 40. And so I'll round up like that, okay? So hopefully that kind of makes sense. I'll do that. I'll exit out. And then this one here is going to get padded up 20, which is the default right there, which is also the height of this peg, right? So I hit OK. And here's that Z fighting again. The two things are overlapped. Again, not to worry. Don't get even the slightest little bit stressed about this, because, and then start trying to build your part up in the air or on it or close to it. Just trust in your ability to assemble things, okay? Now that I need to put a hole in this and I need to pick this lower surface, I might start to get kind of worried that I'm picking this yellow thing, even though I can see it highlighting blue, so that's not really the case. But my point right now is come up to here to peg and hide it. So if things start to get in the way, just know you can do a hide show. You get rid of it, and then when you want to see it again, you come back over here and bring it back again. Super easy, okay? What you should not do is come in here and start hiding or trying to hide individual things. That might need to be a dedicated video too, because that's more of an accident that happens rather than a protocol or something. Oops, I wanted that hid. So we'll leave that hid. And now I can get onto the top of this guy right here, or the bottom, doesn't really matter. And I'll add in a circle right there. And this is going to be 14. It's going to be the same as the other. Later, we're going to talk about fit tolerances. How, for example, this hole that I'm making right here. So I'm going to do a pad and, how about a pocket instead? I'm going to do a pocket and I'm going to say up to last. So then just like I did on the last one there, I'm going to go to properties and I'm going to change this one color to green, just like before. Very contrasting colors. I can bring this one back. Okay. And I'm going to stop this video right here and we'll come back and we'll assemble it.